What's up, guys? Ian here. It's been a little bit. So back in the summertime, I kind of brought up and started up a little, I don't know, wanted to start some type of streaming, making some videos. I've always liked making videos, and I kind of started this thing with a little brand I wanted to call 4STRANDZ. And I did make a couple things, and then I've kind of gone silent for a while, a couple months actually. More than a couple actually, but kind of had some things pop up and happen, and I wanted to get back into it, and kind of had some new motivation pop up and everything like that. So let me introduce 4STRANDZ. Those of you who've never seen it before, I've started this up in the summer a little bit, just some of my own personal things that I wanted to share amongst the world. I'm a coach and teacher by profession, and one of my main jobs is to, motivate, inspire, and help my students. I teach middle school and high school, so there's like a big need for that morale, that positive morale, and helping them learn about the upcoming things in life, helping them deal with a lot of the things that they're going through, and especially right now with COVID and everything, it's been extremely tough on them, as well as all of us. We all have something going on because of the COVID pandemic. It's affected us all in some shape or form, and it's been really tough on myself. It's been tough on my students, my co-teachers, my school, my friends' schools, their jobs, outside of education, people's jobs, people who've lost jobs I've known, and people have struggled financially because of that tremendously. I've had friends who have small businesses who've been impacted. I mean, just the entire world has been, we'll never be the same. We will definitely remember this, and we will all grow from this, though. I truly believe that it's going to be one of the hardest, if not the hardest things of our generations, of our lives that we've gone through. But we will prevail. We will pull through it. It's just going to be a long haul. So don't ever lose that hope. Don't ever lose that faith, and always keep loving. Okay. So anyway, back to 4STRANDZ. You kind of got a little more intro on me. 4STRANDZ came from kind of ironically, a little bit funny. One of my favorite movies growing up was called 3 Ninjas. And if you're my age, I guess you probably might remember those movies back in the, I want to say 90s. It was about these 3 grandsons, or 3 boys. They were grandsons to their grandfather, who was from Japan, and he was a martial arts, master. And he taught his boys, karate and everything. And being a big fan of martial arts myself, it kind of hit me, and as a kid, we had our imagination, so it really hit us, and it impacted us in a fun way, of course, because we wanted to be all ninja-like and, throw our moves out. But one of the things the grandfather instilled on the kids was 4 strands of rope. A rope, when it has come together in 4 strands, it is one of the strongest pieces of rope. One strand alone will break, but 4 of them together will become something unbreakable. But he took it a little deeper with his grandsons. They were 4 of them, 3 boys and himself. So there were 4 strands of rope in that sense. And each one kind of represented a specific thing. One was mind, training of the mind, training of the body, training of the spirit, and the heart. And so those 4 things really, really speak to me when I was trying to create and figure out some type of direction and some type of brand. And the mind is a big one because I am an educator. I do PE, but I do educate a pretty significant part of their lives. Not that any of the other subjects are any worse or better. We all have a big significant part in developing these kids' mind. And so for me, the mind is a big thing to improve upon consistently, daily, all the time, in our lives. Sorry, one of my little things fell down, my notes that I had posted up here. so that way I don't forget and lose track and go on tangents, because I'm really bad about that. But anyway, the mind, it's been one of my more, well, honestly, I struggle with probably all four of these in some form or fashion. Like we all do, we all have our weaknesses, but the mind has been a tricky one. I feel like I'm better at, no, I don't figure, I know I'm better at helping others' minds develop, but I struggle developing my own. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's a lack of discipline on myself in there, and I'll be the first one to tell you that. I'm not perfect. I never say I try to be. I just try to strive for perfection, but I try to strive to be a better person than I was yesterday. And it's difficult. It's a challenge. My study habits growing up will really reflect that. But I was blessed with a very smart mind, and it took a very close friend of mine to help me kind of understand and realize that very recently, actually. Another thing I just did was I just studied and worked and passed a test to get my insurance license to sell life insurance and health insurance type things. And that's not a plug or anything. I haven't even gotten into the selling part yet. I just passed the test and just officially got licensed to the state of Texas. So like I'm still don't know much about it. I know a lot of stuff about insurance and all the info and stuff like that, but I haven't gotten into the selling part yet. But I will be. It's another form and way I can help families and stuff like that, and that's a big part for me, is helping others. I probably should learn how to do that for myself more so though. But this friend of mine, he had pointed out, I told him I passed. I was ecstatic. I didn't think I was going to pass, and he was like, "No, brother, you're really smart. I've always believed in you, and you've got a really big brain in a sense that I had no doubt." And I've been told that many times in my life growing up. I've been told lots of things that I struggle to believe that of myself. I knew I had intelligence. I'm not dumb. I mean, I knew I was smart, but like, you doubt yourself. You're your own worst critic, they say, And when he said that, I go, you know what? You're right. I am. Like, I am intelligent. I am smart. Like, I have a pretty big brain. Not like in a way where I'm like a scientific genius or anything, but in other ways. So the mind has been something I've been trying to develop myself, that discipline in studying, that discipline in working towards my goals that I set for myself and seeing myself through it. So more on the discipline side is really what I'm getting at. But our minds are always learning. Our mind always is changing. It's always adapting to things that pop and hit us in life. Especially now, if you haven't had something hit you yet, then I don't know if you've been under a rock or something. I don't know, but you've been blessed, I guess, if that's the case. But our minds have been tremendously affected. And right now, mental illness is a big deal, or mental health is a big deal. Both are big deals. And, taking care of ourselves, asking for help, kind of dropping that pride a little bit, which is the hard thing to do for some people, including myself, because we don't want to feel like we're a burden to somebody. And that's where it gets tough for me. I don't want to make it feel like I have to depend on others, but this life is funny because we weren't put here by ourselves, expected to figure it out by ourselves. We were all put here, billions of people on this planet. And sadly, we see a lot of, examples of how we isolate ourselves from each other. And we're all humans here. And, we're here for each other. We need to be here for each other. We need to learn that. We need to work better at that. It can be tough, and, sadly people take advantage of each other like that. But at the end of the day, we really need to work towards being there for each other. And that's a big thing for me. That's why I try to extend my hand out to help. I try to extend myself out to be there for others as much as I can. And it's a fault of mine, almost. Like, I care to a fault, and it's a downfall for mine, I've been told. And because I don't take care of myself in the process, or I overextend that invitation too much, and I try to be there for everybody else. when it's even sometimes unwarranted. It's just such a naturally ingrained thing in me to like, oh, you need help with that, or oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. Is there anything I can do? And it's not that I'm trying to intrude on anybody or anything like that and get in their business. It just, I don't like to suffer, so I don't like to see others suffer either in any shape or form, whether it's severe suffering or whether it's a mild suffering, mild inconvenience. I just, I want to, help others, push others to get through the same life that I'm trying to work through, together. I have a real big passion for that. I have a big love for others in that sense. But yeah, so the mind is one of those strands of rope that I want to kind of talk about in this series. Who knows what's going to happen or where it's going to go. Next thing, body. The body. I am a fitness fanatic. I studied exercise and sports science at Texas State. Eat 'em up, go Cats. And fitness is kind of something I loved. It was a science of the body, similar to biology, a study of life, and how the body works always is very interested in me, especially when it comes to the fitness aspects. I'm no PhD. I have a bachelor's in exercise and sports science, a minor in health and wellness promotion. I teach PE, physical education, but I've just been fascinated with how the body can perform. We see it in sports, and sports is a big thing for me. I'm a coach, go figure. But seeing the human body perform, from the things that I've seen little toddlers and babies and infants perform at that level of intellect and, physical stature, all the way up to like these, pro athletes and, I'm not putting one down when I say this, but these freaks that are like just have this amazing ability that they put their bodies to train through and like can perform some amazing stunts and feats and have this amazing strength, endurance, and just the rigor. And it just shows you how amazing our bodies are and how amazing the human species is. It has a lot of values on our lives, when we train our bodies. And, we have to put it through significant uncomfortable situations to be able to grow and learn. And our bodies are a great example of how that works. Life is the same way, but like a good this is why I stress this with my students, or try to at least, when you're training to, get stronger, or whatever you're training for, sports specific, or whatever your training is, you have to go through an uncomfortable phase to make that change. If you want to get strength, you're going to have to put your body through stress it's not used to, so it can grow and adapt to something that it was better and stronger than before. And that's a metaphor of life almost. I mean, that's like, yeah, it is life. If you can't grow and improve yourself without going through the uncomfortable situations that were required for that change to happen. And I think I love that because I love this aspect, especially because it connects so well. There is that, that comparison, and then you can translate. A student of mine, like my middle schoolers, can take that concrete example and translate that into life and have a better understanding of like why life feels this way or why these situations go through this. And it takes this effort, this pain sometimes, this change, this uncomfortableness, to get to where they want to go. And I think that's my favorite thing. And I've seen some amazing things my own body's been able to be capable of. I'm not bragging or anything. I've been blessed with a very athletic and healthy genetics and stuff. I'm no NBA or professional baseball athlete or anything of that nature. I can pick up any sport pretty decently. Golf has been the biggest challenge, but I can pick up most sports pretty quickly. So the body, that's a big one. And our bodies are what we take with us to the grave, regardless. We come into the world with that body, we leave with that same body. Now it can change over time, but it's still our body. So it's very important in learning how to take care of it and, make sure it is keeping up with what you're putting it through. Because if it doesn't, it can lead to more complications in life that will make things more uncomfortable. So body's the second strand of rope. The third one is our spirit. Now, this is where more controversial things come out to play, because when you're talking spirit, a lot of personal beliefs come into play with this. And my job is really not to impose that and stuff like that. Well, I guess the biggest part with this, how I want to explain this one, is we all have our own personal spiritual journeys. And that's going to come from what you've learned, what you've grown up with, what you've experienced, and where you find those beliefs in. But, there is a very, very, very real thing with our spirit, being part of us that does create a healthier mind and a healthier body, and that healthier spirit kind of affects a lot of those things. They're all intertwined. And spirit is probably, out of these four for me, has been the most absolute hardest to work on, to have this one. And like I said, I'm a coach, so like that will to like never give up, keep pushing, is always there. But like, man, there are some days when my spirituality and like my faith is really hard. And I think I know a lot of that is myself, beating myself up. I struggle with a lot of shame. If I don't perform up to my standard, regardless of what the other party or person had placed on me before, I have a standard that I place on myself that I try to be for others, which also is the downfall of mine. But if I mess up and I disappoint someone, it kills me. It like eats me up. I let it eat me up, not because I want it to, but because like I have this mentality, if there's a problem, I got to get to a solution and work towards fixing it. I'm a fixer, another downfall, but it doesn't mean I'm a bad person or anything like that. It doesn't mean I'm wrong for it. It's something I have to learn to recognize when I'm doing it, recognize when it's happening in my own mind, so I don't go down that trail, that rabbit hole, if you will, that leads me to beating myself up more and making myself think I'm not worthy, or making myself think I'm not a good as person as I know to be, or I know I am. And that's been a struggle for me, especially recently this past year. Gone through lots of different things spiritually, and right now we're coming up on Christmas. This is two of the biggest, moments for my faith life, at least. I'm Catholic, born and raised Catholic. Fell out when I was growing up pretty hard. Had some pretty miraculous things. Not going to get into testimony talk or anything, but I've had some pretty big things happen to me that have shaped that spiritual journey for myself. And right now I'm in a rougher spot right now. And, maybe this is another way that I've been, God's calling me to kind of come back. He's always making me look up and like, yeah, that was you, I know. And I'm always shaking my head at myself, like, what are you thinking again? But that's part of it too with this whole journey of life is, you don't stop and quit. You got to keep working at it. No matter how much of a struggle it is, you have to try. Even if it is the smallest of steps forward, it is a step forward. Don't forget that part. You're going to get knocked back a couple times. You're going to fall on your butt a couple times. Yes, it will happen. It's going to hurt. It's going to suck. I cried. I've fallen many times. I still fall. I am falling right now. But you only fail when you don't get back up. You only are a failure if you stop and quit. Now, if you fall and you get back up and try again, and you fall again, you get back up and you try again. If you keep doing that, that in itself is a forward progression. Okay? It may sound weird, it may not make sense, but you got up. And that in itself is that step forward. Okay? Because if you don't get up, And I don't mean physically, like you fall down on the ground and you don't get up, but you could actually take that example literally too and be like, if you fell down and you never got up, well, you're just going to stay down. That's it. And there you are. You can't go do anything because you don't get up. But like, even metaphorically and stuff speaking, you get knocked down because something hit you hard. It hurt you. It made you mad. It made you angry. It made you sad. Whatever it was, even if it's a positive thing, you've got to keep pushing forward. You can't stop, and you can't give up on yourself. For me, a good close friend of mine, she had said, she was giving a talk one time, and she said she struggled with loving herself as well. And her thing she had to learn was, she had to love God first, foremost. She had to love herself second. And then she was able to love others. And that really resounded with me. If I didn't love myself, I'm not able to love others. And so, again, let's track back into where we're at. Spirit. Your spiritual life does have a big part, and it influences a lot of your decisions and a lot of your lifestyles and a lot of your choices you make as you move through life. Whatever that is for you and your truth, that's something you have to find. I found mine. Mine is in Jesus Christ. I believe He's my Savior. And I try to embody the image of Christ, and I fail miserably, but I still want to. It sounds funny. I told a pastor this one time. I don't want to sound like it's. I'm trying to be Jesus in life, the best that the best that I know that I can, and I know I will never ever be that, but I'm still gonna strive for that, no matter what, because for me, when I think of that is the purest of forms, and it is love. And that's a big thing for me, is love. And that's the way I know how to be, and I'm trying to embody that image of Christ, so that others can maybe see it and, come to know Christ the same way I have. Not in a way where I'm trying to persuade you and change your faith and all that stuff. You're going to have your own truth and stuff. This is just what I've been taught, and this is just how I've learned, and it's also how I feel it makes me a better person for others, is to be that embodiment and that image. I'm right now I'm in I don't want to say I'm in a dark place and scare y'all or anything. I'm fine like that, but I'm in a tough place right now, man, spiritually, and a lot of it is on me because I'm ashamed right now. I'm a little fearful because I've been not doing the right things and stuff like that, and it's been tough, and I'm afraid, I have a fear of failure and stuff like that, and then I'll in turn beat myself up, and then I think I'm worthless, I'm no good, and it just kind of cycles down like that rabbit hole, and it gets to dark places sometimes, but it's a reality that I have to work on. It's a reality I have to shape and form and work through, and I know I'll get through it. I know I will. My faith is strong, and this is my journey. This is my faith journey. So that is why I bring all this up. Spirit is a big deal. So your spiritual journey is going to be your own truth, and you're going to find that your own way. I can give examples of how it shaped me and what it's done for me. But in the end of the day, God's got His own plan for you, and it's not the same as mine. Or it's not the same as that other person, or your mom, or your dad, or your family, or it's your plan. He's got a special plan for you, okay? So you have to go out and find it, and you have to discipline yourself to work towards that, If you don't want to, that's on you. That's fine. And I've done that. I've gone that rogue route before. For me, it didn't work out very well, and it just, for me, caused more pain in the long run. So it's a constant journey. Just like all of these are, So that's the third strand, spirit. So our last one, getting to that, is the heart. You could kind of argue heart goes into a lot of these these other three, but I feel like the heart, excuse me, the heart kind of ties this all together. It connects all four together. It's kind of like the glue that holds it together in a sense. Having that heart, how do I want to explain this? Let's see. Having a passion for something, having, sharing that heart, sharing that love, it kind of boils down to a lot of that stuff, for me, at least. But, when you have heart, it kind of is I want to say all-inclusive, like it brings everything together, and it ties up the loose ends, and it sheds, light when one of the other three are in a darker place for you, One of my friends growing up, actually in my early days of college, I was going through some rough stuff relationship-wise, and, family relationship-wise too and stuff, and I kept, again, going back to the whole beating myself up. I'd put myself down tremendously. It was a bad deal with me. But he said, you gotta check the rooms of your heart, Ian. You gotta look at inside of yourself, and you gotta check those rooms, and you gotta make sure you're keeping them clean. Because what we'll do is, our hearts will collect things, and we'll either tuck it away and just let it, sit there and, stay there if we don't do anything with it, or and if you do that over and over and bottle it up in a sense, and you keep putting things in that, that heart gets crowded. The rooms get crowded and filled with junk and stuff, and it's got good things in there too. It's not just bad stuff. It constantly getting things put in there, emotionally, intellectually, physically, whatever that is. It's always collecting things. It's kind of like, and it was a good, interesting point he pointed out to me. He goes, you got to keep those rooms clean. You got to go check on your rooms and make sure you tidy them up. Get rid of the junk. Because if they start getting too crowded, you get trapped, and you start to lose your sight of what your heart really looks like. And I never heard that before, and it really impacted me. And this was, more than 15 years ago. And it still rings true to me. So yeah, the heart is a big one for me as well. So those are the 4 strands, mind, body, spirit, and heart. Those are the 4 things that pretty much anybody could take. It's a very broad type of thing, but those are like the 4 things that like my life kind of goes into. You can always work on these things. You can always improve on these things. And they're always going to have challenges, each in their own ways. It's not easy. It's part of this journey we have that's called life, but it's that journey that makes it so special. And I love that. So 4STRANDZ, that's kind of the brand I'm kind of going with here, trying to see if that builds up. I'm here for you. If you need anything, I'm always going to offer that help. I'm always an open phone line. I'm always an open email, whatever that may be. I'm not super active. I'm active on social media. Like I am on it a lot, probably more than I should be. But I'm going to start posting stuff like that. And the goal of this is really just to, open our minds up and share and collaborate and work together, as other human beings. Right now, this whole year has been crazy with the pandemic, and you probably have heard that a million times, and I know I have. But it's very real, and it's impacted us all in some ways or fashion. So I feel like I'm not very financially sound to be able to support people financially in that sense. And I've had friends that have blessed me with that aspect when I've had some rough patches when it came financially, and they've been there for me. But I try to find whatever way I can to be there for others and support them, whatever that may be. And this is a medium for me to be there. My job, I do it every day in my job. I try to at least. But I want to reach more people. I want to let them know they're not alone. That was a big fear of mine as well. And there's reasons behind that, of course, we all have our things. But I know there's people hurting. I know there's people suffering out there. That's without a doubt. And some more than others. And I know there's some that, are doing their best, but sometimes it's just not enough, and you can't. When you're not enough for yourself to handle it, then having that person, that someone there to help you, just someone there to listen to, someone there that may have said something like me. Like my friends have said things, so many things, and it's impacted me, and I still remember lots of things to this day because of it. So my goal is, if I help one person, then I'm successful. That's it. I don't have to do anything else, but I know I believe in myself that I can help others, and this is what I'm called to do. I don't have all of this inside of me to give just to one person. It's got to be for everyone. I'm not here for just, you know what I mean? Like, it's got to be, like, I have so many things inside of me that it's selfish of me to keep that. It's not for me. It shouldn't be just for me. So that's the whole point of this, I guess. I want to be an outlet to help motivate people. I want to be an outlet to, show somebody that, hey, he does understand, he gets it too. And, that might help somebody understand somebody else is out there like me. They get it, and I don't feel as alone now. Just that fact alone, has made a significant impact on me, to know that I'm not the only one that's gone through the things I've gone through. And we may not have the same journeys, which is fine, but we're all on the same journeys together, which is called life. And that's an important thing to understand as well. So I hope this takes off, but who knows? The internet's a funny thing. I've been watching lots of streamers lately and trying to learn a little bit about it. This is going to be really rough and stuff like that in the beginning until I start getting more equipment, things like that. But that's another thing I love. I love film. I've dabbled in some stuff and some editing. I love music as well. You'll see a lot of my Twitter's hashtags on my posts. I put faith, hope, and love. Those are my three big things. Fitness and education, because that's what a lot of my life is about. And then film and music. Those are a lot of my, I guess, hobbies and passions that I love to do, because it's a way to get a lot of these things out there. So yeah, if you need anything, my door is always open. My phone is always open and stuff like that. If you got my number, and I'll have this on social media and YouTube, so you can freely message me. But all in all, just keep a positive note on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself, as hard as that can be sometimes. And at the end of the day, guys, when you get to the end of that day, just have that hope. Don't lose faith and don't lose sight of that. It'll be all right. It's going to take some work, but keep positive the best that we can. And we're all in it together, guys. We're not alone. We're all one big family. So that's all I got for today. I'm going to be running on tangents in a second pretty soon if I don't stop myself and contain myself. It's going to get boring and be like, this is nothing. So intro video, guys. 4 strands: mind, body, spirit, and heart. Look forward to more videos. We'll probably break down each one, on certain episodes and talk about certain personal journeys of myself, and another way to get to know me as well and understand and relate maybe to these 4 different strands. So yeah, check it out. Leave a comment, leave a like, whatever. Subscribe, who knows. But not for the attention reasons, but because, if it helped you out, let me know. And then if you got other ideas, I'd love to collaborate. I'd love to expand on this. And, eventually, if it turned into a little talk show kind of podcast thing, that'd be cool. Interview people's other journeys, and we'll see what happens. I like organic. I like things to just naturally take a flow. I don't have to be too strict on everything like that. So I don't want it to. So mainly just focusing on those 4 things. But, let's see what happens with this, guys. It's a journey. Let's do it. All right, guys. So, excuse me. Got something stuck in my throat. All right. Well, that's it for tonight. Again, let me know and check out and be watching for more videos. 4 strands, mind, body, spirit, and heart.